Yeah.
So did it post?
Hasn't yet.
Just tweet it real quick.
Yeah, now I'm going to.
Did you not set up your monitor yet?
Oh, there, it finally went.
That looks like a TV.
There, it finally went. I think it was... No, that's a new monitor, yeah.
Are you gonna set it up? Did you set it up already? Yeah.
Oh, shoot, I forgot about setting this up here.
Invincible.
All right, how's everybody doing tonight? Well, I know Prince is in here. How you doing, Prince? Good to see you, man. And Mrs. Chicken Scratch, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. Well, Prince, either that's my wife or my daughter, one of the two. Someday I'll get my wife in here on the stream with me. Try to get her to stream with me. My wife's really good at delivering babies, so she can show you how to how to get a woman through labor. Oh, it's both of them in there. Cool. Oh, you're asking about JD, Prince? Yeah, I talked with him today, and he said that he needed to do some he needed to do a matte painting for something. It sounded like he might actually have a job interview, so I hope it all works out for him. So not sure if you're ready for the how to get a woman through labor. Sorry, I'm taking care of something here. Taking care of some last minute posts and stuff here. Making sure everyone knows I'm streaming. Trying my hardest to push. Let's go ahead, and I'm gonna do some inking tonight. Obviously, you can tell. Check this out. I got a new stand. Look at that, and it tips it up now, so I don't have to sit there and look at it flat. What I found odd, man, when it was laying flat, I got really tired, like really quick doing it, and I think it was causing a little bit of fatigue because it was at a weird angle. I don't know. It seemed a bit weird. Yeah, it's like a mini drafting table. No, my wife does not do art, but my daughter does. Actually, all my kids are getting pretty talented. All my boys draw. My daughter draws. My daughter likes to draw a lot of those pattern things. And then she also likes to do... She's been doing some eyes lately. Tip this back a little bit. Oh. There we go. All right. Hey, does the sound good and all that stuff, Prince? Just making sure. let me turn this a little bit too. There we go. Music's a little low? Okay. Usually I have the opposite going on. Let's go about right. Let me know how that is. Yeah, I like to have a little music in there, like when I do YouTube and stuff. I think it helps fill a little bit of the silence and stuff when I'm not talking or people aren't talking or whatever. So, oh man, I need to arrange. I need to get a better arrangement for my desk. I need to take care of some of this junk all over the place. Let's put the mic right here. There we go. That ought to give you good sound now. Of course, then you have the mic in front of the drawing part too. But that ought to be all right, huh? Okay. So let's see here. I was leaving off at the carburetor up here. So is your day good, Prince? I saw that you said that you had your day was all right. You couldn't complain. Life full of spreadsheets and stuff. Releasing a new coloring book. Owlcats? Oh, that's right. He showed some stuff. Actually, I think Owlcats... Is that a girl or is that a guy? Oh, David Vanderpool. I guess that's a guy. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, actually, my daughter would dig that. Click on that link, Sophie. You'll like that. I don't know why he doesn't... Yeah, why doesn't he stream, man? Some of that stuff I would think people would find pretty interesting. There's somebody on here that does that. I think it's a lady, and she goes by the name of Nifner or something like that, I think. Can't remember. Oh shoot, I already just messed up. Oh well. I can fake it. Oh, you're gonna try streaming? Oh, that's cool, man. Right on. What's your plan for that? Like, what kind of stuff do you want to work on? I need to get my hand... You know what? I think part of my problem is I'm not using my shoulder, or my straight arm. Oh, work on some maps? Oh, that's cool. People can watch what next to do. Hey, Renegade, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Oh, the Phoebe. Oh my gosh. Hey, Phoebe, how you doing, man? Thanks for the host, bro. That's so cool, man. Thanks a ton. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm working on my card art, my Hot Rod themed playing card deck. If you look down below my picture, although I'm getting the follows on there, thank you, Drawing Flies. That was the initial setup, and now I decided to go to inking instead because I didn't like the initial pencil drawings, because I felt for a card art it was going to be too small and not read very well. Oh, thanks, Barrito. Hey, Pizza, what's up, man? Yeah, thank you so much, Phoebe. I appreciate that, man. I hopped on your stream real quick just to see, because I was like, oh, he's on right now. That's cool. Oh, thanks, Phoebe. No, I don't have the Caravan Palace going on in the background. Actually, I love Caravan Palace. That was one thing I loved about your stream. But I'm trying to use non-copyright stuff because of the because I repost a lot of my stuff back on YouTube. And if I do a tutorial section, I'll section that out. And if I'm cut out for any of the music, then I don't get to use it. Hey, thanks for the follow, Chad. Thanks for all the follows. If I missed any of you guys, just say hi in the chat, and I'll make sure to say hi. I really appreciate that, guys. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm gonna launch a Kickstarter campaign next month for this card deck. So actually, I can show off some of the artwork I've done, but most of it's been done in pencil. So this was, like I said, if you look at that card art down below, this is the 41 Willies that was on that. Here's this is the Ace of Spades. So all the aces are going to be in the shape of engines. And in fact, that's what this is right here. This is the Ace of Hearts right here, so you can see the heart shape. And I'll end up going back. I haven't figured out what I want to do with the background yet. I don't really care for this line that much, but it definitely fills it in. So, and then here was the center part. That was the center part to the card again down below. And so every card is going to get this like center art that kind of plays off of a typical playing card, is the idea behind that. So it still has it's still going to have a similar feel to normal playing cards, but all be hot rod based thing. Oh, thanks, Phoebe. Let's see if I think that's primarily everything that I have so far. Oh, this is the backs. I haven't scanned this in yet. So this is only done in a quarter right now, and then all this will get flipped, and that's going to be the back of the cards. Hey, thanks for the follow, guys. I appreciate it, man. So cool. I appreciate all the follows, guys. Like I said, if I miss your name, say hi in chat. I love to say hi to people. Oh, thanks, Renegade. I just saw your comment up there, man. Oh, I know. I'll show you my sketchbook. I have everything sketched out in there. I hate to keep you too long, Phoebe, because I know you probably want to go to bed, man. Sketchbook. Let's see where my sketchbook is. Oh shoot, I don't know where it is. I just cleaned my office today, and I think I put it away somewhere that I don't know where it is. Anyways, I won't worry about it. If you want to see more of the art, I've been posting it all on my Behance site down below. If you click on my link for my portfolio, there's a link in there that it's called the Burners card deck. And so I have all my rough sketches in there. I drew out all the cars. So all the kings are trucks, and all the queens are like late 40s to early 50s cars, so like very soft fender type cars. And then the jokers are actually going to be funny cars, like old like 60s funny cars. And then the jacks are actually that's what this is. That's what this 41 Willys is. But I just put that thing. Now I'm losing artwork quick. Yeah, this. So all the jacks are like these jacked up cars. That's kind of the theme behind it. And they're all they're called gassers. Back in the late 50s, early 60s, they had these cars. So they're like lifted off the ground. Oh, thanks, Phoebe. I'm trying to get there, man. I know it. It's kind of interesting to me with this whole new Twitch thing, because I figured I'd have a lot of people come over from my Instagram page and my Facebook page, because I've got a decent following on both of those. But I feel like I don't know. It just seems like people don't transfer over from there very easily. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, Phoebe, I'm on Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 9:30 Pacific Standard Time, because I live in California. So, and then I usually stream until like 11 or 12. It kind of depends on when I get off. So. Yeah, and I do get, and the funny thing is too, is my following is scattered all over the place. Hey, thanks for the follow, Mr. Hoax. I hope you're not a hoax. I get a lot of people that are in the hot rod world, and then I get a lot of people that are in the concept world, so I have an interesting mix of people that follow me. So it's kind of interesting. West Coast, the best coast. Phoebe might argue that. Yeah, so I start 12:30 your time. It's pretty late. That's why I hadn't seen you on that late normally. Better Taff. I'm gonna go back up to some of my comments here. What about a steel diamond plate for the background? Yeah, that's a possibility. My only problem with the steel plate stuff is I want this to be kind of an early era of hot rod stuff, so like 50s to 60s at the latest. They weren't really using a lot of that steel plate, except for, it just wasn't around as much. So I want to find something that's like, I might even do like grayed out pinstriping as a possibility, or ghosted out flames. I don't know, flames. I'm kind of a anti-flame guy. It kind of depends. They got to be appropriate. So, oh, you love East and the West Coast, right on. But not a bad suggestion, Better Taff. Everyone just saying hi. I said hi to you, right, Pizza? Right on. Man, so Prince, you get around too. It sounds like the feed knows who you are. Oh, right on, Mr. Hoax. Yeah, just trying to find some more creative streams to follow. Well, the Phoebe is definitely a great guy to follow, no doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. I was lucky to actually purchase one of his pieces of art just recently. In fact, I had a place for it and I was gonna put it up here, and I decided that I want it somewhere else. Check this out. I think I showed this to him already. Oh, the glare on the computer monitor. There it is. There we go. Now it's reading. Yeah, Florida has beaches, but it's no California. Although though I will say that the Florida has the nicer, warmer beaches, because California water is freezing cold, man. Yeah, anytime, Phoebe. Let me know when you're ready, and we can arrange a time, and we'll talk for sure. Oh, good, you got a scan of it. If you ever need, like, me to take a picture or anything like that too, I can totally do that for you. Or I can even pull it out and scan it if you need it. Mr. Hoax, do you work from reference or just out of the top of your head? Well, a little bit of both. I've drawn a lot of cars for a long time, and I went to school for car design, so I'm really familiar with mechanical stuff. So sometimes I draw stuff out of my head, and then other times it's like if I get stuck, I'll pull out reference. In fact, I'll show you some of the reference I'm using right now. So I just have some really good pictures of engines. So I look at, you know, all the mechanical stuff in the carburetor. Like, I know what a carburetor does and how to draw a fairly simplified version. But with these cards, I want a little more detail in them. And so I just use, like if I get stuck, I'll bring this stuff up. But my initial sketch, I just sat there and I drew a heart real quick. And then I went over it and drew out the engine. And that was purely out of my head then. But now that I'm in the final stages, I am looking at some reference to just get more ideas for mechanical stuff. So. California water is like 1 degree warmer. Yeah, it's totally true. Florida is humid, no doubt about it. No joke. Oh, you'd love to understand engines. Yeah, I love engines, man. And you got a good scan of the piece, yeah. Well, I saw what you were working on tonight. I thought that was pretty sweet too, man. It kind of has that similar feel to that one. I feel like it did. So, yeah, Mr. Hoax, I've had several people coming to me and asking me when I finish this stuff, they want to use it for tattoos. So I've had several pieces of my art on people's bodies several times. So that's always flattering when people are willing to do that, right? Mark themselves for the rest of your life with my artwork. Used to do stuff like that. Oh, simplified for stenciling. Oh, yeah, that's cool. So more of a graffiti style thing, huh? Just goofing off tonight. Sometimes those are the best things that come out when you have like you're not really focused on an entire idea and you just start bashing out stuff. Back in your hoodlum days. So are you going to be going to bed soon, Phoebe? Of course, you said you weren't tired. You usually have to wake up early in the morning for your job. Man, I'm afraid I'm going to run out of my ink too quick. I just ordered new cartridges. what? I need my my paper. Wide awake now. I always feel wide awake after my streams. I don't know what it is about it. I think you get amped up a little bit just talking to people, and your brain gets going with all your artwork. And you might have a beer to help. Yeah, that'll calm me down a little bit. Oh, your job is actually 9 to 5. Oh, that's cool. So you have to be in too early. Do you live very far away from the from your job site? So you have tricks with these brush pens, huh? A Sans cartridge. Better Taff. No, I've never run into any copyright problems with my stuff. Most of the stuff I do is so modified that it's like I don't really draw existing stuff. Even that 41 Willies that's on that card, it's so heavily modified by the time that you really can't get busted for that, because it's not copying the exact car that Ford put out, you know? Or I'm sorry, it's not even a Ford, it's a Willys. So I'm gonna have to check into that, Phoebe. Dip brushes, huh? Tips last forever that way too. Ah, okay. Yeah, if you, I know that I ended up getting this recommendation for this pen from a lot of comic guys. They do a lot of inking with this in the comic industry. But, before that, I had a Pentel that, yeah, I found that they run out super fast. Oh yeah, that's not a bad commute. I will say the one thing about California though is if you have a 20-minute commute, normally that'll turn into about an hour out here. This is really satisfying to watch. I'm not really doing anything right now. I'm doing more talking. Back to your copyright problem thing, Better Taff. Why did you ask that? I'm kind of curious. Because even these engines, I've totally made them up. They're not even after certain engines, but like when I look at my reference, I only look at it for like on the detail side. Because if you go back and look at the way I did my carburetor, it's actually different than that photo. But what I do is I take those pieces and I interchange them and make them totally different. And then plus this is in a shape that's not in a normal engine too, so it's, you know, it's in the shape of a heart. And they didn't really make anything like this. Oh, the copyright stuff. Oh, yeah, Better Taff. I was actually talking about the music. the Phoebe listens to the Caravan music all the time, and I love that. I love that music a lot, and I would love to use it in my stream, but it's if I use copyrighted music, they'll actually blank out the whole stream, so you don't hear any of the sound anymore. And sometimes I'll do tutorial stuff here where I'll be teaching people about things, and I want to use that clip on YouTube, and if I'm using copyrighted music, they can silence that part. And I want people to be able to hear me when I'm talking, because I don't want to have to go redub it if I don't have to. So hey D, what's up? How you doing? It's good to have you back in here. Yeah, that's all I was talking about though, better half. And then the other copyright stuff, let's see, Phoebe says, yeah, on point. Been doing it so long. Yeah, there's definitely gray areas. What's copy and reference used for inspiration? Yeah. If you use the ref to answer questions and not straight lift off. Yeah, it's fair, exactly. Always contact the photographer, ask permission. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's and then the whole, I have talked about this in a stream before about copyright stuff. Like I'm always blown away that at the amount that's done in the comic industry, because I worked for Mattel for a long time, and oh my gosh, they were pretty crazy about the whole copyright stuff, and you know, they sued people all the time. And if you ever drew anything outside of Mattel that was, you know, anything close to what one of their properties was, they'd go after you. And then even in school, you know, you were taught, you know, especially as a designer, once you get like a designer mind, you don't really want to copy anyways, because it doesn't it's, you kind of train your mind to think outside the box a little bit, and you get out of that mold of trying to copy a photograph or something like that. You know, I think Phoebe's work is an excellent example of looking at a reference photo but putting his own spin on it. Like it's his own feeling, his own artistic interpretation of that photo. Like I'm thinking of, you know, the Edgar Allan Poe thing that he did, and in Lincoln. You know, he's changed it enough to where it's his own style, you know, and there's a design element behind that. And you know, like he's saying, he'll get permission even if he's changing the photo, you know. And it's always interesting to me to see people draw exact things, you know, even the comic industry, like I said, when people are drawing all these superheroes and even, you know, Star Wars characters and stuff like that. It's amazing to me that people can sell that. I'm not against it. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. It's just interesting to me because companies can be so aggressive about that. And I feel like they've let up a little bit. And I think that even as aggressive as Disney used to be, I feel like they've let up a lot as far as letting people draw their property. He makes you feel like a bad person. No, he doesn't. Yeah, D, I'm doing really good. Back to your question. I'm doing really good. I'm definitely stoked that Phoebe raided my stream. That was a true blessing. And D, if you don't know who Phoebe is, and if anybody's in my stream too and haven't followed the Phoebe, please do it. His work is excellente. Yeah, this is already, I feel like I'm running out of ink on this thing. Got to get this thing to get through this whole piece. Just reading your comment there, Phoebe. Yeah. You're overstepping copyright. Yeah. Enjoying the chat about copyright. Yeah. Oh, right on. I think, who did I find the feed through? I don't remember who it was that sent me to him. The feed was like one of the first streamers that I followed. I know that, like maybe the 1 through 3 or something around in there. Yeah, Molt seems like a cool dude. I've watched his stream several times. He's definitely got a lot of good insight on animation, man. That's for sure. I love hearing his take on all that. It's fun to watch. He's very efficient with his art too. If I could say anything about him, man, that guy he doesn't waste a stroke, I guess you could say. Yeah, I love getting conversations over the copyright stuff. It's because I was always super against any of it. Like if I drew, you know, I would never draw superheroes like fan art and stuff like that. I was so against it for a long time, but I've changed my opinion quite a bit about it now. I know I saw in fact, the Phoebe knows who this guy is Will Terry. He's a very famous children's book illustrator, and he had a whole YouTube video on drawing fan art, and I thought it was super fascinating, and he kind of changed my opinion on it. And I think he changed his opinion because of Jake Parker, because Jake Parker talked about it as well. But it does, the one thing about fan art, and as much as we all hate to admit it, you know, people attach themselves to characters that exist out there, you know, and I know I find myself doing it. I absolutely love Boba Fett, and anything that people draw Boba Fett, I just instantly love it, you know, most of the time. And you know, and when artists draw that stuff, they get attention for it. And literally, I just finished a piece about Boba Fett. I just finished a digital piece that I drew. Now, what I did artistically different, though, is I put Boba Fett in the scene, and I created I built a hot rod basically for him, as if Boba Fett were to build a hot rod, what would it look like? And I used, you know, similar cues to the Slave One, and it turned out really neat. But those are some of my first really true fan art pieces that I've done, because I was so against it for a long time. Yeah, you found him through his YouTube videos? Yeah, so did I, Phoebe. The Phoebe has actually met him before, too, which is pretty cool. Hey, the Shoe Thief, what is up? Or AKA the Horse Thief. I called the Shoe Thief the Horse Thief one night. Oh, really? So you know Jake Parker too, huh, Phoebe? That's awesome, man. Isn't it funny how you get, like, do you know him, like, on a friendship level type thing, or? The brush pin is epic. I don't think I saw that. Did I see that? How the heck are you doing this with a brush pin? Oh, actually the brush print is, man, it allows you to go really small and really big. Cross Contour TV. Hey, thanks for the follow. I was talking to you earlier today, wasn't I? Oh, but anyways, going back to Jake Parker, yeah, that guy's done a phenomenal job at building. I kind of followed him a long time ago too, before he kind of, you know, started pushing all of his stuff out there. I don't remember how I found him. I think I bought one of his. You know what? I think where I first ran into Jake Parker was I want to say he was at a Comic-Con out here in San Diego, and I bought one of his art books, I believe. I don't know if I'm right on that. Oh man, that name is so hard to read. That green is insane. You're asking me a question here. Oh, Chad. Yes. Yes, that is my Boba Fett. Oh, you looked at it already. Okay. Yeah, I posted on Instagram, and then if you want to see it bigger, if you want to see like the full size image, it's on my Behance site down below. I call him Gade once. That's pretty funny. What's up, Renegade? And then he pipes in, I got a college football team, the Gators. Oh, that's funny. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow, Han. Awesome, man. Yeah, again, Phoebe, I thank you very much for that raid, dude. That was super cool. The one thing the brush pen makes you, it definitely sharpens you up a little bit too. Like you gotta really, I gotta think about when I'm drawing this stuff that it doesn't come out like too solid of black. That you still give some interest. When I drew my lines down here, though, I vignetted them out, so it's like I don't have the reference. I need to actually draw them in there. Some of the artists, yeah, on those boards. Well, I don't know if you know, do you know a concept artist? I'm sure you've got to know who it is since you work in the video game industry. Feng Zhu. Feng Zhu, we were actually classmates, man, back in college. We were in product design together in the art center. And that guy, and he was always drawing Warcraft, like, icons and stuff like that in his sketchbook, and I remember seeing him. I was like, why are you drawing that stuff, dude? That's kind of weird. Why would you draw stuff that already exists? Again, it goes back to that whole designer mind thing. And he's like, oh, I'm just getting good practice, you know, I want to draw. He goes, I want to work in the video game industry. And I was like, oh, that's cool, man, because I was in the transportation design program at Art Center. And I just remember that conversation. Then the guy, he quit before he even graduated school. And he gets a job, I can't remember where, some entertainment style studio. And then he just blows up later on, man. You're like, what? It was funny. Oh, you taking off, Phoebe? I see you were taking off. Oh, I need to get known. Think people misunderstood you for get going. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, now Fang has the school and everything, and then, you know, like he did all that stuff on Star Wars, and now he's done, like, you know, all these mega movies and video game stuff, and oh, it's crazy. Thanks for the build-up. Hey, thanks again, guys. Take care, Phoebe. Or who's leaving? Is the Phoebe leaving or not? Yeah, and then I had the other funny story too is that when I was in Art Center, I got this VisCom class, and I heard all these people talking about this teacher, right? Well, I ended up getting this. There was this class called VisCom, and it stands for Visual Communication. So you're learning like about how to render material and reflections and things like that. Well, all these people started talking about getting this guy named Scott, and I was like, Scott, who is this guy? You know, and I was like, and I saw his work, and it was Scott Robertson, and I was like, dang, his stuff is sweet. I want to get him for the class. And there was too many people that ended up in the class, so they created 2 VisCom classes, and I got kicked out of Scott Robertson's class. And I ended up in this other visual communication class. Well, the other one was with another guy that was like a legendary car designer guy by the name of Harry Bradley, and he like designed for GM in the 60s, and he actually designed a lot of the original Hot Wheels. So I was like, oh, that'll be cool to have him. Well, it turns out, man, Scott Robertson was like light years better than what this guy had done. But he was really good at car design, but he wasn't so good at the visual, the VisCom side. And so sure enough, I ended up not getting Scott Robertson, but I actually got to take his class later on when I ended up at Mattel. So that was kind of fun. But it's kind of funny to think about all that. Who was asking about Fang? Oh, yeah, part of the old community. Yeah, I gotcha. Was Art Center a good school? I'm starting another art school in September, and I'm really excited. Yeah, Cross, Art Center was an excellent school. I mean, literally the program that you go through there is they really force you to constantly work. I mean, by the time you come out of that school, you're ready to go in the workforce. And to be truthfully honest with you, the workforce was easier than school. I mean, it was like med school for a designer. And it was a great education. But I gotta profess this now that I can't highly recommend it because the amount of money it costs is so high. And the thing that stinks is the cost of the education is so high, but the starting position of a starting designer in the design world is way lower than what you're coming out, you know, and you have a phenomenal debt by the time you come out of the college. So it's really difficult. And I think, like, when I started Art Center, the resources weren't quite as available as they are now. I mean, you can go on Gumroad, you can go to CGMA. I can think, you know, Gnomon, you've got so many resources now to learn from industry professionals that you can learn. Like, if you're a dedicated learner, then I think that's great. Now, I will say that one thing that school gives you is it forces you that discipline to where you have to turn in the assignments, and if you don't, you're going to be punished for it, you know? Whereas if you're learning on your own, you don't have that. Now, obviously, in college, you have the freedom not to do assignments, but, you know, when you're paying that much for school, you want to make it count, you know? So I think that's the difference. Yeah, Phoebe said it. Great school, epic debt. And I just paid mine off. Mrs. Chicken Scratch, when did I just pay off my debt from Art Center? I just paid it all off, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago now, I think. And I graduated in 2000, so that's about how long it took me. And I don't have near the debt that people are now coming out of that school. Yeah, it's 20K per year, or is that for 40K per year? Well, when I was there, it was a lot cheaper. They go in a trimester system, so you have 3 semesters in a year, and I'm like, when I went there, it was like $7,000 a semester, if I remember right. But now I think it is. I think it might be like 20K per term, so that would be 60,000 per year, I believe. I'll bet you that's about what it is. That's insane, man. That's the thing that's hard. As much as I love that school and I learned so much through it, it's hard to tell people to absorb that debt, you know? I think guys like Fang were pretty smart at just getting their portfolio good enough to get out of the school and not incur that debt, you know? It's funny to think about. I actually, when I was in school, I went and visited DreamWorks, and one of the guys said, I don't remember how I even knew this guy, and to the life of me, I can't remember what his name was, and I feel bad that I forgot. But they had me come in and they looked at my portfolio, and at the time they needed some people that needed to do vehicle stuff. And they were like, hey, why don't you come work for us? And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. I really want to finish school. And, you know, like, part of me says, what if I'd have done that? What if I'd actually taken that job at DreamWorks? You know, who knows? I do know that the studio that would have hired me they did go out of business. So there is that. But who knows what kind of, you know, I probably could have learned from within the company, and that's kind of what Fang ended up doing, I think, you know. Because his work was good in school, but it wasn't near the level that it is now, man. That guy's just skyrocketed. So... yeah, right. Cross contour, totally true, man. Let me go back up here. I know I'm missing some of the stuff here. Yeah, private school system in the States is crazy. It's totally true. Chad, that's how I feel about my education. When you went to the Art Institute, that's cool. Oh, and you left with huge debt. Yeah, the Art Institute is interesting. I know that the one out here in Orange County has several teachers in it from Art Center. Doing 2 years of school, yeah, it costs about $10,000. $24,000 for your bachelor's, yeah. Yeah, the only thing that I could, you know, if anyone was going to Art Center, I would say your best bet is seriously try your hardest to get a scholarship, because if you don't, because I actually ended up getting a scholarship, I think midway through school, I got a scholarship from GM because I was in the transportation design program there. And yeah, I ended up getting a scholarship. Now you have to apply for it, and your portfolio has to be super good, man. There's no doubt about it, because you're competing against several other good students in there. Not only that, you know, they also look at, you know, your financial situation. I certainly, you know, my family wasn't poor or anything like that, but, you know, they were your average middle class, you know, professionals, you know, not enough to afford a school like that. My dad's actually a minister, so not a massive salary, that's for sure. It's still, sometimes it was funny because when I was in my class, or when I started my schooling, they go around the room and they're like, "Oh, how'd you end up into art?" and blah blah blah. And I'd say the majority of the people in there, "Oh yeah, my parents a graphic designer, my dad's an architect," or you know, everyone had these stories about their parents being artists of some form or fashion. And I remember the dean of the school asked me that question. I said, he goes, "So what do your parents do?" And I said, "Oh, my dad's a pastor and my mom works in the school district." And he was like, "Really? How'd you end up in your art career then?" I said, "I don't know. I just have a passion for it and I want to do it." So it was kind of funny. I was kind of an odd duck. And I will say that I really feel like I was kind of behind when I went to that school as far as being artistically inclined, in that there were so many people that were so good. And I had to work my tail off to get better. But I was determined because I wanted to go to that school since junior high, so it was definitely a goal I wasn't gonna give up. All right, let's go back down here. Yeah, you're right, Motley. It is true. It's a high risk to ask somebody to take, man. What ink do I use for the brush pen? You know what? This is a brush pen, and it's a Pentel, but this is the Japanese version. This actually comes filled with ink in it already, so it's whatever ink is in there. I believe it's some type of India ink. I'm not sure. I can't read it because it's all in Japanese. But it has a nice flow to it and stuff. The feed might know, unless he's gone now. He might have taken off. You have a scholarship to go to a lesser-known school. Joe Kubert. Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. Oh, you went to the Art Institute and you left? I actually guest taught at Art Institute in Orange County a couple of times. Yo, Faya, what's up, man? Go Doritos. You went for web design? Oh, okay. Let's see, what did you go to? Let me go back up here. What school did you go to? Oh, the Art Institute for web design. I gotcha. Yeah, I made it cross. It's totally true, man. I feel totally blessed. I've worked on some really cool stuff, like more stuff than I ever thought I would have, for sure, man. I worked at Hot Wheels for a while as a Hot Wheels designer. I went on my own. I had my own business for over 6 years, and I got to design for some amazing clients. So I've definitely done way more than I had ever thought I was going to be honest with you. And now I'm a full-time designer at a motocross company by the name of Fly Racing, and I get to work from home, and they're based in Idaho, and it's a cool blessing, man. It's a fun career. I've had a blast. You wish you had parents that supported you in your art when you were a kid. Well, you know, it's funny. My parents did support me for a while, but I will tell you, when I decided to go to Art Center, they kind of were like, I don't know if you should go. I think you should get your degree from the college that I was at. So I had to kind of, I had to get my own money and support, basically, for Art Center, because they weren't totally in favor of that. But it all worked out, and they're definitely very supportive now. I think they thought that I was going to give up because it was such a hard school. And I'll have to say that my educational background didn't have the best track record In fact, I had a below average GPA. I think I was like in the D category when I went to Art Center, and they told me, you can't go here. You have to have at least a B average. And so I had to go back to community college to get my GPA back up. But when they told me I could get in if my GPA was higher, that was like major motivation for that. You have no artistic people in your family, Cross? Yeah. I'd say when I think possibly I got some of my artistic side from both of my grandfathers. My one grandfather was a farmer, but he constantly made these crazy tools, and you know he had a very designer-oriented style mind. You know, obviously back then they built stuff more out of the necessity, but I think I get some of my thinking from him. And then my other grandfather used to he did a lot of wood carving stuff. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but as a kid I used to draw constantly. My parents still have artwork on my closet from when I was 3 years old. So it's kind of fun. But I used to draw a lot of animals, was kind of a big thing. I used to draw birds of prey. And then my grandfather was he loved a deer hunt, so I remember drawing deer for him. They had artwork of mine. I did a lot of pen and ink when I was younger. Let's take out some of that stuff. Yeah, so you never took the risk, Prince. Yeah, it's a risk, but hey, you're doing it now, man. You're giving it a shot. I think that's pretty awesome. I always remember the story of Colonel Sanders, because I've heard so many entrepreneurs talk about that guy, that he didn't start Kentucky Fried Chicken, I think, until like he was in his late 70s, maybe even early 80s. So that's pretty, you know, we still got a long ways to go before we're to that, you know? You went to YouTube and Schoolism. Yeah, you know, hey man, there's some great resources on there. And then even with Twitch now, there's some phenomenal artists on here that you can learn from. Let's see. The pocket brush is filled with India ink, but it flows less smooth. Oh, the pocket brush. Yeah, that's I used to have that one, and I messed that one up. I actually put the wrong ink in that. I think I put like a waterproof ink in it, and it gummed it all up. It just destroyed it. Miss Chicken Scratch. Do I still have any of my old drawings left? Yeah, I do. Oh, you mean of my like early childhood stuff? You know what? I had a manila folder. You guys remember the old manila folders, like that golden yellow stuff? I had one and I drew all over that thing. And I remember I don't know if my mom and dad still have that. Actually, you know what? I think it might be in my old drawings in our garage. I should do a stream like that one time. That would be fun to do. Pull out all these old drawings. When I left Art Center, man, I threw so much artwork away. Hey, thanks for the follow, LD Bean. Thanks, man. What is up, Bean? How you doing? I had some old drawings, or actually all my Art Center drawings. When we moved out of our house from Monrovia, I'm not kidding you, I filled 2 trash cans full of my drawings. And I threw so much away because I knew that most of it was bad. It wasn't very good. But I did keep some, and I have a bunch of photos of all my stuff too, so just for nostalgic sake. Oh, now you use a dip pen. Okay, the dip pen is what the Phoebe was talking about, right? I think it was. he was talking about that earlier. He said it works a lot better. Oh, thanks, Bean. I appreciate that. Oh, I got another follow, too. Oh, that was Rock4. Thanks for the follow, Rock4. Rock47 Halo. Yeah, then maybe it wasn't waterproof ink that I put in mine. Because oh, shoot. See, I just messed up. That's what I have a white pen for. I put something in it that didn't like the pen, and I basically the bristles got all gummed up. I might have put, I don't know what I put in it. It was something that basically destroyed it. Because I capped it and I pulled it out later, and it was basically hard on the tip, and it was like, you know, like scratching the paper. It was funny. Like, well, I guess I just ruined that. What time I got here? 10:16. I was debating whether to do more. Usually on my stream, I'll do a another. I usually split my stream in half, and I'll work on my card art, and then I'll work on something else. Usually something digital, or I've usually been working on that Boba Fett piece, but I finished it yesterday, so tonight I could work on. I could work on this character thing that I'm working on. I'm forcing myself to do characters because I don't do them very often. I really want to brush up on that skill, get better at character stuff. So I joined this, just kind of this challenge, the Art Posse challenge, and I thought about working on that possibly. Oh man, JD, hey, I need to ban him. Just kidding, man. How you doing, JD? Good to see you in here, man. Yeah, Faya, actually you can, the other pin that I had was the brush thing, and they actually make a cartridge that you could fill. And it was, you would like suck out the ink or whatever you wanted to put in it. So it was made for the pen, but I just put the wrong ink in it. You got 3 paintings going? Right on. How are they coming out? Yeah, I told Prince what was going on a bit. He jumped in my stream at the beginning. Yeah, if you guys want to see, if you're interested in more concept art, give JD a follow. He's got some really cool stuff going right now. And he loves to help out as well. If you guys are wondering about concept art and digital stuff and things like that, he's he'll show you a bunch of tricks with Photoshop, and I've actually learned quite a bit off of him. Thought I knew Photoshop pretty well, but he's taught me quite a bit more. I don't know, I might just go all traditional tonight. I really want to finish this piece, to be honest with you. I might skip the digital part tonight. You know what I forgot? I really wished I hadn't filled that all in black back there. Actually, I'll probably go over it with my my white pen. Man, I cannot. It's funny because my drawing table looks like it's got good light, but when I look at it on screen, it looks dark at times. Or else my screen is bad. Here we go. So JD, the Phoebe sent me over a bunch of people tonight, man. Hey, thanks for the follow. Let's see who that was. Old School Israel, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Oh, see, man. That's what I get for not putting my paper down. This is like my ink eraser right here, my white pen. I'll have to go back over that later. Because I'll end up going in and adjusting all this stuff in Photoshop. I need to get the black in there though too. Oh, I did it again. I'm not being very clean right now. I can't get a fine tip on this one, man. Oh, LD, let me see here. Pizza. Go back to up here to some of these comments. You're having separation issues from JD. That engine looks great, Dwayne. Oh, thanks, man. All right, have a good night, Pizza. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. You have a good one, too. What kind of white pen am I using? This is a... it's called a Posca. I know there's a few white pens out there. There's another one, I think, what's that graffiti brand? It starts with an M. I can't remember. There we go. So it's called a Posca, a Uni Posca, and this is a 0.7. I think this is the finest you can get it in this brand, at least. It's pretty good. It's actually a really nice pen. Molito, is that the name of that graffiti brand or something like that? I can't remember. Oh, don't worry about it, Bean. I've done that before. Accidentally type your stuff in chat twice. Yeah, I've had mine freeze up before. One time I was in somebody's chat and I hit enter to knock it in, and it didn't go, and then I was like, what's wrong? And I thought, oh, my chat's all messed up, and I kept hitting the enter button, and then I went in their chat, and there was like all these, I was like, whoops. Yeah, no problem, Bean. Let's see what you got here, Scribbles. Yeah, I already have it confirmed. They don't want to give me an interview, but they don't have the style they want, so I'm having... Oh, right on. I will have what they want to see shortly. Oh, very cool, dude. Well, I hope that works out for you, man. I'm sure you'll let us know as soon as you hear something. Chicken is now a spam troll. Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, I don't remember whose stream that was in. It was funny, though. I felt terrible. Man, it's 10:24. I'm just gonna, I am just gonna finish this up. I want to get cranking here. Oh, some other good news. I know that a few of you have been in here in the stream. I've said this, but I got a second monitor. So I'm going to be able to put chat up. And I can see chat much better now. I think I'm going to put it right here in front of me, I believe. Because then I can look up and see it. Might change the camera positions and stuff too. I always ask how he's doing. Alright, let's fill in this area here. These little sections take some concentration, man. Let's taper down that white line a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Let's let that dry. I feel like that's giving me a little bit better read. Yeah. I'm also going to hit this other side with a little bit of white, too. Let's see here. It gets a little thick. I'll let that dry and then I'll go back over that with black again to kind of tune it up. Man, I messed up my deal right there. I feel like I'm gonna make this go back one more while talking to myself. So anyways, if some of you are in here that don't know what this is, right now I'm working on I'm redoing a whole playing card deck. And this is going to be a hot rod themed deck of playing cards. And the goal is to launch it on Kickstarter next month. And then from the deck of cards, all the proceeds are going to be going to a charity that I support by the name of Redeeming Love. And they actually help with bringing girls out of the sex slave trade and basically reacclimating them to life, just because they've been so abused and tortured in that industry. They actually are going to have a house, and they're going to give them, like, you know, educational needs and formal training to basically have a job and kind of reacclimate them to life. So, but yeah, some really good friends of mine started the charity, I believe, like 2 years ago, and they've gotten a lot bigger with all the sex slave trade stuff being kind of exposed, and so there's just such a need for it out there for people to help out. And my friend came to me and asked me if I was interested in doing a project with him. We didn't really have anything in mind, and and he mentioned, he goes, have you ever thought about just taking some of your art and putting it on playing cards and creating a deck of cards? And I was like, yeah, I said, I've actually wanted to do a deck of cards, but I said, I don't really want to do anything that I'm just taking my existing art and putting it on. I don't feel like that does it justice. So I decided that, hey, this would be a great opportunity to just redesign a whole playing card deck. So that's what I'm doing now. And I basically went through my sketchbook. And if anyone's interested, I have all my rough sketches on my Behance site, which is down below. If you look down below, I have a link to my Behance portfolio. And if you go in there, it's called the Burners Card Deck. And it shows all my rough sketches for what I'm doing. So now I'm in like the final artwork stages. And so when the majority of this gets done, then it's gonna get launched on Kickstarter next month. So oh, thanks, Bean. All right, what are you guys saying here? Oils. How do I control you? Are you doing an oil painting, Faya? They're tough, man. Just edit, undo, yeah. Oh yeah, no. Trust me, Prince. You guys, everyone will know when these cards are on sale. I'll probably be tweeting it on Instagram. I will probably be doing 2 or 3 posts a day on when that thing launches. Because they're going to get printed through Bicycle, I think was our final conclusion. So they're going to be, they're going to be high quality playing cards. They're not going to be just run-of-the-mill paper style cards or anything like that. So they'll be all professionally done and stuff like that. Oh, hey, what is that? C3H7Ku. What rules of perspective do you follow to draw like this? What rules? I mean, on this one, this would be like, I will admit, this one's probably a little tweaked and a little stylized, but if I had to say what rule applied to this one, it would be a single point. This would follow a single point perspective. So it would be, so say for instance, and like I said, I realize that my perspective's a little off on this, but it's a little stylized. So single point is like this. Oh, I gotta watch my... Actually, you know what? Let's I'll just pull out another piece of paper here and I'll show you. So these are some of the... Whoops. These are some of the sketches I've done in the other streams here. This one I did the other night. That was fun. Fun random one. So single point perspective would just be from the center like this, and that's basically what that one's following. So then if you do a 2-point perspective, you've got, and then your horizon line actually runs right through that point right there. And then if you do a 2-point perspective, then you've got 2 vanishing points. And so you've got lines that come off this way then, you know. And then you can go into, you know, Like fisheye lens perspective is like a 4-point perspective. And then you also have a 3-point perspective. So a 3-point would be actually up in the air, and then you do a 2-point. So you'd have all the lines coming off of that, and then you'd actually have lines coming off of this. So like for instance, what would use a 3-point perspective like might be a tall skyscraper or something like that, you know? That's like the easiest thing to think of. Now, right now, this one's really, really distorted. If I wanted to make this look normal, basically all I need to do is stretch out the vanishing points out to here. So watch what happens if you stretch these out a little bit further. Then you get more of a normal look. And then you'd make this meet right here. So then you don't get that really weird sharp corner. And then a 4-point perspective is actually the same. It would be, you get 2 here, and then you actually have 1 and 2. So that's a 4-point perspective. And this is actually what a fisheye lens does. So then you get all these perspective lines coming off of this as well. So and so if you get it, you know, this is actually creating a circle like this. And then as your perspective lines get out towards the edge, they'll actually start to warp like this. And that's why you get that fisheye lens. Now this gets pretty crazy to draw stuff in this perspective. Now you can, but that's basically what creates the fisheye lens. So, but anyways, that kind of goes through your different perspective stuff. But this is the one I was using to draw that engine for the most part. So I hope that answers your question. I might have just confused the crud out of you guys. You hate 3-point perspective? Yeah, you're right. Cross contour is leaving your 2-point. Well, you don't have to keep them out of the frame, as long as if you could have 1 in the frame and 1 outside of the frame. That'll still work pretty good too. But yeah, if you have both of them outside of the frame, that's kind of like what you consider a wide angle lens. Kind of your typical setup. They don't make paper that big. I love 3-point perspective, man. Hey, thanks for the follow, Pot Swag. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, there's so many different things you can do for perspective practice anymore. You just wing it, but in school, rulers were required. Yeah, I did take a perspective class that we had to use all the drafting instruments for in math. We had to like subdivide stuff up. Oh my gosh, it was super crazy. The amount of figuring out that we had to do when I was in school. But I've never ever used that kind of perspective stuff. Basically everything I use is all the principles that Scott Robertson teaches for the most part, because it's good enough for sketching, you know. And usually what I do is if I have a piece that I need to be accurate, you know, on everything, then I'll usually draw it out, and then I go back and I figure out the perspective. Like I don't ever draw the perspective first, you know. You got it. You were blown away how well your freehand perspective. I've done it for a long time, man. Like I said, earlier I kind of told the story, but I had Scott Robertson as a teacher, back in school, and I learned a lot of his techniques. And then just by drawing constantly, you really get good at perspective. And I drew a lot of car stuff, and when you draw that, you know, you've got to put cars in perspective. So after drawing it a lot, your eye starts to get used to that stuff. Like I can pretty much look at most people's drawings and realize that stuff is out of perspective. It's like my eye has been trained to notice that stuff like very, very quickly. And a lot of times when people draw vehicles, that's like when you want to make something look man-made, the perspective stuff is kind of a big deal. Because I think you can get away with a loose perspective stuff on figure drawings a little bit more than when you're drawing man-made objects, you know? But yeah, some of the stuff on this that's out of perspective, like I know that like this is wrong. This is actually going at a different angle as this. I probably should have fixed all that, but I knew it was kind of a loose piece of artwork, so I didn't correct any of that stuff. But maybe I should have, but I'm not too worried about it for this, because I feel like this can still have that hand look. Now, if I was drawing concept art, you know, for sure I'd fix all those issues. Like I just finished the yeah, straight lines don't exist in nature. Yeah, you're right. That has a lot to do with it. Oh, thanks, Swag. Yeah, like I just finished like a digital piece, that Boba Fett piece. If you see that, I posted on my Instagram page. Which, if you want to see any of my links, they're all below. I have my portfolio, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. And I just posted this Boba Fett piece that I finished today. And that one I did draw, and I went back and I checked my perspective to make sure everything was dialed in. Because it's a full city scene and everything. No, I knew you weren't, Koo. But I noticed it myself. It's no big deal. A lot of designers use isometric perspective. Yeah. It's boring for regular art. That's so true. Actually, I think it's boring for design work as well, man. I actually hate isometric stuff. It always looks so odd to me. I even remember drawing. I took some architectural and drafting classes, and it always bothered me when I had to draw the isometric stuff just because I thought it looked so weird. It doesn't look natural at all. I don't think there's anything natural to isometric perspective. If you guys are wondering what isometric perspective is, that you have I guess it's basically one vanishing point, but then the other point, they're all parallel lines, so they go straight across. So everything looks skewed weird. But yeah, I think that used to be more of a common thing for drafting back in the day. And my guess, and I don't remember studying this or anything, but I gotta wonder if it helped with tooling stuff, maybe. You know, if it was a way to figure out surfaces and stuff like that. I don't know. But I don't see it used as much anymore. I think that was an old school drafting thing, but I might be wrong on that. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. The vanishing points are so far out they become parallel. You didn't like isometric drawings? Yeah. If you played an RTS video game. Oh, that's true. I guess the guns have an isometric style perspective to it, huh? I didn't think about that. I guess because you're so up close to it, huh? That your vanishing points don't really show up a lot. Trying to avoid letting that ink dry because actually I'm using paper that is actually marker paper. It's actually, that stuff stays wet for a bit. All right, let's see here. I think this is gonna go. Time we got 10:47. I'm gonna try to probably hop off around 11, guys. I think. Last few times I've streamed late and then I stay up late and then I'm like dead tired for work in the morning. So yeah, and some of the people that are in here that maybe just joined, I stream on Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 9 p.m. all the time. And then I usually try to get a third stream in, and the third stream usually varies. In fact, just to let everybody know, the third stream this week is going to be on Sunday night. So I'll stream Sunday and Tuesday and Thursday, but a lot of times it's usually on a lot of times it's Friday nights or Monday nights. So and my main project is this card deck. This is the one that I'm mainly spending, well, I wouldn't say most of my time on, but the majority. Because I'm trying to launch this thing on Kickstarter next month. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, Potswag, you can actually... You know what I'm doing right now? I've taken all the YouTube videos because I posted all my past streams to YouTube, and I just downloaded them all, and I'm going to cut out all the Boba Fett stuff, and I'm going to speed it up a little bit, and I'm just going to post just the Boba Fett piece all coming together, so you'll be able to see it built up all the way. Yeah, I'd say perspective is it's hard in the beginning. There's no getting around it, but you really learn it really well just through repetition, man. And I know that most artists will say this. It really is just constant repetition. That's how you get better and better all the time. Hey, thanks for the follow, C3H. But yeah, drawing the cubes is good exercise. Trust me, I had to draw plenty of them in school. I had to draw cubes, cones, what else? Cylinders, all that stuff. And really, when it comes down to it, when you break down, like, like say this engine right here, it is made up of all cubes and cylinders and and cones and all that stuff. I said cylinders already. But I think once you get that stuff in your head, you realize that even the human body breaks down to all that stuff too. And that's how you can get the perspective right. Once you draw that cylinder or the cube, then you start to break it down into more of its, complicated shapes. I've talked about perspective a few times on my stream. I think I have a few things on there. I should probably do it. I should just do a stream that's all involved with perspective, because I get that question a lot just talking about it. Catch up in the chat here so you don't miss my next stream. Yeah, usually when I'm drawing a lot of my other cars, I'll talk about perspective. Now, some of these other ones are pretty non-complicated. Actually, I'll talk a little bit about it. Here, let me fix this real quick. I'll talk about breaking down stuff. I'll just do it for the last part of the stream here. I'm going to go over them. What's that right there? I feel like that still needs to run this way. Yeah, that doesn't look good with the diagonal. See, now I need to run that in the perspective. I'll go with that. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. So like some of this stuff here, like this is using just a, it's using a 2-point perspective, but it's definitely one of those perspective points that's spread apart. And these are some of the easiest ones to do. Like when you run your horizon line right here, and the perspective point, or the vanishing points are way out. So this is probably one of the easiest perspective things to draw in with vehicles. But the nice thing that I like drawing like this too is that I can draw big on a piece of paper. Now some of this stuff you can tell where I've got other perspective stuff lined up on there. Let's see, what were you looking at here? This is the best starting artist book on the market. What book is that? Is that the... I don't know. Let's see if I've seen this one. The Joy of Drawing. Huh. Oh, interesting. I've never seen that one. So have you gone through that book before, Cross Contour? Hey, Silver, what's up, man? Hey, it's good to see you in here, buddy. Oh, you own that one. Right on. What's this other one here? That's a good place to start. Structure studies. Drawing guide for beginners. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. I should go through some of these. I like... I like seeing the way other people teach and stuff like that. It's always kind of fascinating to me. Yeah, see all those like spheres and shaded cubes and stuff? I took a whole term on that. Like, that's all we drew. And we drew all the shading and the bounced light and all that stuff. And you learn about reflections, and it was crazy. It's like a Bible for basics. Huh, interesting. I've never seen that one before. I know there's a ton, there's so many art books out there anymore. Let's see here, gosh, I want better light. Why is this so, I feel like it's so dark up there. It gets better when I put my arm in there. It's dumb. Dumb camera. Alright. Let's see what else you guys talking about. Which link do you want, JD? How to draw or the first one? Here, I'll post them both. There you go. Yeah, so as far as kind of a little bit of what I was talking about when you start to learn perspective, let's just for example here, trying to think of what to use as an example. So let's do the 2 point. Actually, let's put the other one way out here so that we don't get a real distorted perspective. There's also something called the cone of vision, which is basically the circle, like it's within a certain area. I can't remember how to get that again, but I'd have to look that up. But basically your cone of vision is your eyesight, because if you notice that everything gets really distorted as you drop down further. And basically what that is you as a human have a cone of vision, and within that vision is basically how you see stuff. And if you get outside of the cone of vision, and stuff gets really, really distorted. So that's why, like, if you draw a cube down here, it's like super tweaked and distorted and doesn't look right. Like you would never visually see this happen, like through your own eyes. The only way you would actually see something like this happen is like a fisheye lens or something might cause crazy distortion like that. Hey, thanks for the follow. I missed who that was, but just say hi in chat. Might have the most creative name on Twitch. Right on. So you want to keep most of your stuff within this range right here. Usually when you draw out this perspective grid, you can kind of figure out where stuff looks not normal, you know? So, okay, within this cube here, let's say we have a box here, okay? And if you get good at drawing this stuff, like say you start with laying out grids like this for yourself. And just a real quick exercise, I know I've talked about this in the past, to get good lines like this, I mean, I'm not saying that my lines are perfect, but if you want to get better at drawing lines, actually I'm going to bring this over, I'm going to put the box there. If you want to get better at drawing controlled lines, just do sketching exercises, like drawing points like this, and making your brain stop at the next one and trying to keep a straight line. There's a bunch of exercises you can do to get better at that, but that's kind of how I do, and you know, I can get these good lines. And then the other big key is drawing with your elbow. Don't ever draw with your wrist like this, because that's probably like some of the most common mistakes that beginner drawers do, is they draw with their wrists like this and they get these real scratchy lines. But if you draw with your elbow or your shoulder, even like if you're using a bigger piece of paper, I always put my pinky down on the paper, and then I just get a nice controlled straight line that way. So anyways, back to the perspective thing. So let's say I got this box here, right? You get it set up in your grid, and you know, just practice doing that. Draw boxes within the grid, and also just keep in mind that the focal, oh my gosh, it just left my head on what it was. The cone of vision within that area, so that you're drawing normal stuff. Don't draw way down here, because this stuff is super distorted and it looks weird. Like if I drew a car out of this shape, it looks really bad. It looks tweaked, distorted, and just doesn't look right to the person looking at it. So if you practice this enough, you know, you get pretty good at drawing this stuff. There's a whole other lesson in getting your ellipses right too. I would probably go through that at a later point. But just drawing some of this stuff over and over again, and you know, you can do, I know that I'm getting kind of advanced with the cylinders and stuff, but so like up here you have this grid coming up here, so I need to draw my cylinder within that, or my ellipse, sorry. Actually, I've hit on ellipses too, drawing them within perspective. So then there's even more that you can do. Like if you have a light source, you can figure out all your shadows. You can plot all that stuff out. It's pretty crazy what you can figure out. Like I said, I probably should talk about that stuff later, because that's starting to get really advanced. So then once you get used to drawing some of these shapes in perspective, your brain will start to figure out that, like, now I can take that box and I can draw that thing in perspective now without even having my vanishing points. Then once you have this brick, then you know, you keep it basic for yourself so that you understand what this is doing here. Starts taking notes. I sure hope assigns homework for Sunday. I can start giving you homework. I would say the homework would be just draw a bunch of shapes, man. Start doing that, lay out that perspective thing like this. Do this, and just start drawing shapes, and keep doing, you know, that over and over again. Draw several, fill up a page with all this stuff. Go to another page and keep doing it. I mean, literally, I had a whole term on this stuff. But what I figured out later on is that it's breaking it down into the simplest forms. So if you start to put wheels on this stuff, you can start to carve out a car, you know? Now again, this is in its simplest form too, so the car is going to look a bit strange. But as your brain starts to comprehend these simple shapes broken down, that's how you start to draw the more complicated shapes, you know? Because your brain can process that. Now some of the techniques that Scott Robertson shows is that, you know, actually you want a center line in here. So I know that that's split right down the middle. Now some of the stuff he shows, you can actually draw like, you could draw a plane, like the bottom plane. So this, pretend this might be the shadow. So, and basically what I'm drawing on is this plane down here, the very bottom plane. So then, since I got my center line there, actually I think my center line's slightly curving here. Yeah, it is a little bit. So then I have my center line, and now I can draw across, and I can figure out. So I have this, say this as a waist, you know, inside here. So it's like pushing in, it's dipping in. I can do that same thing on the other side now. Actually, I feel like that is my center line. Let me figure out something here. Yeah, my box is slightly large, actually. So you can get really scientific and start to figure out the whole shape of your car and where all your stuff needs to land. Now I'm showing you kind of an abbreviated version. Now you could really go through what Scott Robertson does. He actually breaks this up into boxes, and you can send you know, you can put like guidelines over, and you can figure out basically almost mathematically exactly how this perspective works. So see right here, I can tell my wheel is out of perspective right here. So then I can just bring that stuff up like that. I'm just going to block it out. I'm going to keep it super simple. I'm not going to start to carve it up into a crazy car shape. I'm just showing you how your brain can start to work after you've done it. I mean, this is basically what my brain is doing when I'm making designs. It's, you know, it's basically taking a knife and carving it up, and then the next plane it's carving it up and then carving it up. So really, this is the early basics of, you know, a car design. You know, there's a lot more to it after this, but so then from here, you know, if you really wanted to, you could start to add fenders. This is a horrible looking car, but I think I'm trying to keep it fairly simple so that you kind of understand the concepts behind it. So center line. Yeah, you need to have your center line. Well, I guess you don't have to have it symmetrical, but you don't really have a center line down something that's asymmetrical. I guess you would have a, well, I guess that's not entirely true. I guess you could have a center line down it and the design could be different on opposite sides. But I think for learning's sake, you want to, you kind of want to keep that in mind, I think. I don't think you want to start doing asymmetrical stuff right off the bat, you know? And even if you think about it, most nature is symmetrical for the most part. So that's why our brains, I think, can comprehend that stuff. So, yeah, it's slicing the cube, man. So then from here, you know, really, this is, I mean, you could start slicing shapes off here, you know, creating chamfers. You know, this is how you start to break down a design. So then when you start creating all these slices, your brain can start to figure out how to shade this stuff and how reflections work and all that stuff. But really, it is a lot of repetition, and your brain gets used to it, and you start to figure out this stuff. But, you know, when I was showing all this stuff, it really opened up, you know, just a major breakthrough for me when I found out all this stuff. That's how you could start to get form to things, you know. So, do you have any other questions on that? Does that help a little bit, maybe? So then I can take it from there, and I can, you know, start to get really crazy with stuff. Ugh, all my pencils are small. Let me get a new pencil here. Yeah, I think learning perspective and training yourself to draw, and what I mean by that is getting good control over your line quality and stuff. If you get those two things, you can make some pretty big leaps after that. And that's the nice thing, is when you break all that stuff down into like chunks that you can bite, it makes it a little bit easier for the learning process. And I really think this is the way I actually learned in school. I mean, it was very, very basic in the beginning. But by the time we graduated, you could, I mean, I was designing cars, so, you know, you could figure out, you know, very, very complicated surface things by then. So then once I get to that point, then I can really start to, I mean, this, I'm just showing you how my brain works now. But I always lay down my ground plane when I draw vehicles or cars, you know, even if it's spaceships, I always draw guidelines first. And you'll see, you know, you'll see other guys do this too. Feng Zhu, Scott Robertson, any of those guys are going to lay down guidelines for themselves. But even when I start to lay out my my objects, I use very, very basic shapes, and then I start to carve them up from there, you know. I don't really know what to draw right now, but I'm trying to get my brain going here. This is pretty much how I started that military hot rod vehicle. Was I just started sketching on a page, and then I start to see something. But I draw planes to start with. Like, and what I mean by that is like flat areas. Hey, thanks for the follow, RBK, RBK2. Let me think here. This is when I need sometimes some inspiration. And sometimes as I've drawn stuff, you can, you know, adjust some of the perspective. Keep all your guideline or all your lines fairly light in the beginning, you know. Then you can start to come back and fill it in. Oh man, it's 11:16. Shoot. Didn't realize that. Let me do this. Just gonna look at some past stuff that I've done just to get some ideas. Because I'm just trying to freestyle this thing, and I gotta have a direction here, I guess you could say. Go to this too. I'm gonna kind of steal off one of my own drawings. I always liked the proportion of this ship. I always thought it was kind of cool. Now I will say, like, you know, when it comes to design and styling, that tends to become a personal style, and I tend to draw a lot from. I'm a huge World War II fan. I look at a lot of bombers. I look at a lot of fighters. I love everything that's World War II related. I love tanks. You know, so a lot of that stuff plays a huge inspiration into my styling and stuff. You know, even when I'm drawing spaceships, I'll pull designs, you know, design cues from old airplanes and things like that, you know. Because I heard Feng Zhu do this or talk about this once, and he talked about how you don't want to make something too weird or crazy. And he was mostly talking about, like, when you're doing design, especially for video games and even movies, you know, people have to relate somehow. And when we, as a designer, we have to create things that are new, but they're still somewhat familiar. And, you know, by looking at planes, I end up injecting that same styling back into my stuff. You know, people understand what flies and why, and, you know, that they have wings. You know, I heard some designers talk about, you know, spaceships. They shouldn't have wings. You know, like, that's stupid. And to a certain degree, I understand the science behind that. But to the everyday Joe Schmo that's not thinking about that spaceship, you know, you don't need wings in space. That you understand that if you add wings and it's got an interesting shape, that flies. You know, I know that that's a flying ship now, you know. And I think you have to use those design cues when you're designing stuff for video games and movies and things like that. But, and just kind of going back to the whole perspective thing, You know, I'm showing you now. I'm getting really complicated with my shapes, but I'm able to do this now because of learning all those fundamentals, all the fundamental stuff. You can't get here without going there, basically, is what I'm saying. And you talk to any good designer, and they've got this down pat now, you know, and they're able to think this way because they draw so much, and through tons of repetition. You know, I don't have chat up, but let me look here. Hey, James, what's up, man? I got my chat up on my phone, though, so I'll take a look at that real quick, guys. Just talking about perspective and a bunch of the fundamentals and stuff. All right, see you later, JD. I don't know if I missed you a long time ago, but peace out, bro. Yeah, the Batwing, maybe. The Perco Russo planes are cool. What is that? What's the Perco Russo planes? Is that the stuff that they did called Speedbirds or something like that? Always like these. The other thing too, I've also looked at a lot of planes from the 60s too. They had a lot of weird experimental stuff that was pretty strange. But once I get my guidelines down, you know, I've got this perspective laid out for me right here, you know, for the most part. And then as I get out here, then my perspective lines are going to start doing this. And then as I go this way, they're going to start going this way. And like I said, this is all, you know, it's from years of drawing. I've been at this for probably... I mean, even before I graduated college, you know, I'd been drawing. So, it's, but I got really good in college, I will say that. That's when I kind of exploded and got a lot better at figuring out stuff. Now, this is one of the more complicated things that you got to figure out. Okay, so I have these wings right here. So from the front view, they're doing this, right? And then this wing is coming down like this. So then the cockpit is like this. So now I've got to figure out this wing and these two wings. So what does that look like on the other side here? Because this one, you're almost just looking at the blade, right? So you're like, dang, dude, you know, this was probably... I promise you not that drawing airplanes is so difficult to get the wings right. We tend to want to draw things flat, but they have a lot of the planes go up, and they also tip back at that. So they got just crazy perspective stuff going on. So what I can do now is, since I've got my center line here, I can drop that if I need to, but I can draw over to the other side now and figure out where these wings hit. So let's say the corner of the wing's about right there, and then the top of the wing is right there. So I can draw within this perspective grid to the other side. Now again, I'm doing this sketch because I'm doing it based on experience, but I'm also doing it with the science as well that's involved with figuring out your perspective. The other thing I can figure out too is this wing, where does that dip down? That comes out maybe about right there, I think it looks like. Well, here's the center line. It's gonna probably be moved over a little bit. So there's where that's where the wing would probably end here for this one. So I've got that tipping down. So now now I can get the bottom of this wing from right here. So we're saying about right there, I think, because it's got space in between here. So that goes down. And so this corner is about right there. Now you can actually, so if I draw this wing going down like that and I bring my center line down, so that's the center of this V right here. So then I can bring the V up on the other side and figure out my wing. So actually I'm off a little bit. I probably need to go about right there. And this one probably, let's see, I can do the same thing with this. Bring my center line up. So actually, see, I'm off a little bit on that wing edge right there. So if I bring that over, so I need to bring that down steeper right there. Hey, Monsieur, how you doing, man? Hey, and Sid's here. Hey, Sid. Man, that's cool. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, there's a few really good artists here. Silver's great. You guys can follow each other. Silver's here. Sid Weiler, she is an Adobe artist, and her illustration work is phenomenal. So check her out. It's really cool. JD Scribbles, he does concept art. James does a bunch of vehicle stuff as well. So hey, thanks for stopping by though. That's awesome. Was that thunder? No, I don't have thunder here. I wonder if I hit my table maybe. Oh, Sid. Yeah, Sid, you know, I mean, I don't want to like come into somebody else's chat and say, hey, I stream, check me out. I figure that eventually somebody will, you know, discover me. Right now, I basically, what I was working on, you can see below, that's I'm redoing a whole set of playing cards. I'm doing hot rod themed playing cards. And that's what I was working on earlier, and now I'm just basically going over perspective stuff. And I should have gotten off at 11, and I didn't. So, anyways, I'm going to finish this. And if you guys have any questions, come in or just chime in, and I'll answer it. And Boy Fruit, hey, what's up, man? Boy Fruit's in the house, too. He's got some phenomenal artwork. It's so cool to see everybody in here. Thanks for all the support, guys. I appreciate you popping in. So anyways, I was figuring out the perspective of this wing. I think you heard me talking about that. So that goes down like that, and then this here is actually going to get a kickback on it. Now that's something you can't see back here, but what you can do is you can figure it out from here. So I'm hitting about right there. So now I can figure out where this one is too. This one's probably, so this one's kicking out like this. And same thing, I'll just carry over my line. Now this one's gonna get, well, let's see, because I have this kicking forward too, so you're gotta compensate for that. Actually, to be honest with you, what I'd probably end up doing is kicking that back, because I feel like that's going to be too, it's going to look too much like this right now. So how did you find me, Sid? How did you know I was doing this? Hunt down who streams. I know that's totally true. Hey, oh, somebody just... Oh, thanks for the host, Sid. I appreciate that. Oh, thanks, Monsieur. It's not necessarily a bat plane. It's just a ship. I kind of was basing it on one of my old designs. I was just talking about perspective and stuff like that, and just kind of giving some guidelines. I'll show you where I started from, and then we ended up on this whole thing. So what I was talking about, I'll just back up a little bit. We were talking about perspective. Oh, you recognize the name. Right on. Oh, you were skimming for creatives. Right on, and you saw me on. Awesome. So I was talking about perspective and how in school I spent a whole term on just drawing shapes like this. And so you go from here, drawing a bunch of shapes, and then in that course too, we had to learn how to shade them, how to plot your shadows, and I didn't even talk about plotting shadows yet because that's just throwing in more. So I went from this, and then how you get from just drawing cubes, you start to go to this, and this is just how you can lay down some guidelines and start to chop up a cube, and how our brain starts to process this stuff so you can shade it and things like that. And then I was saying from here, my brain now thinks like this, where I can really break up surfaces and stuff like that to really think this stuff out. So I was just using a spaceship as an example for getting a more complicated surfacing arrangement going on. So now I'll go back and basically start to darken in some of this stuff. And then, you know, you can get real crazy with it. I could add more engines. Actually, I think that tail wing is probably a little too typical. So, but I'll just probably leave it for now. Oh my gosh, Sam's in here too now. Right on, guys. How you doing tonight, Sam? I was just going through a bunch of perspective stuff. I just got all the cool people in my stream. I had the Phoebe earlier. I got Sid, Boy Fruit, James Mundy, JD Scribbles, now Sam. So now from here, once you have a basic shape going, you can start to really add some cut lines and engines. And actually what I'll probably do, I might just drop this down. So it's got this like kind of center fuselage going. Sometimes I'll even draw through the wing to give myself to figure out what all that's doing there. Then from here you could actually... I love to draw wings off of stuff, it's just cool. So to kind of give that a center look there, then I can draw my other wing on the other side. Oh, thanks, Sam. Yeah, hey, Monsieur, everyone is here. Yeah, and Prince of Motley is here too. That guy is truly my sidekick, man. He is by far one of the most supportive dudes, man, I think I've seen around. I love having you in my streams, Prince. I really do, man. It's so cool. You bring the comic relief. I know when I'm in other people's streams, maybe not all of us see that, but Prince and I get some good jokes going on sometimes that just crack me up. Nothing mean. I don't want people to think that we're making fun of them. Just we can be very sarcastic at times, I think. So now this starts to become the fun part when you start to detail all this up. Is yeah, Shoe Thief, everyone is here, man. Tell me about it. It's awesome. It's great. Everyone shows up right when I want to end my stream, right? I should probably call it a night, guys. I will probably end up just finishing this tomorrow. Man, Sam, I had originally planned on working on my my posse challenge thing, but I didn't. I ended up working on my card deck for so long that I was like, I wasn't gonna jump into digital. I just stayed traditional tonight. Oh man, this is one of those things. See, I'm starting to go now. I'm starting to think. Oh, Silver. All right, dude. I'll do it, Silver. I don't have a lot done yet. Actually, no, I do. I started all the armor tonight. All right, I'll show it. And hey, before everybody gets off here, just so you know, all of my portfolio links, Instagram, all that stuff is down below. I have a store. I sell prints, books. My books I sell, I have over 2 hours worth of content on drawing cars and vehicles on there. And what else? I have t-shirts and patches and stickers. I got the whole thing, man. And if any of you didn't know, I called myself Chicken Scratch because my brand name that I started was called Masters of Chicken Scratch. And that was off of my original book called, or it was called Masters of Chicken Scratch. So anyways, all right, let me go to the desktop here. This is the ship I was kind of looking at going design that other one. So here's all I have right now. So I drew the polar bear. I got the polar bear pose there. I'll let's see, is he? I'll darken him in a little bit. I don't want to get too dark because then you can't see the totem pole thing. So he's gonna have like Indian characteristics because I really couldn't find, since he's a polar bear, I couldn't find. I figured out the Eskimos really didn't have a warrior. So I ended up going with the Inuit Indian, which they live pretty far north and into Canada, so I kind of went with that. And so he's going to have a bunch of Indian garb on him, the feathers coming up off of his back, and then obviously he's got a totem pole for a weapon. So this was kind of an idea. I think I was working on it the other night. I believe Silver was in the stream then. And so I made him holding the totem pole with just his hand. And then I looked up the strongman competitions. And they actually have this pole that they pick up. And so I put a handle on it and made it look more like a weapon. So anyways, that's where I'm at for the posse competition. I guess it's not really competition, just a challenge. So, but I wanted to brush up on my character stuff. So I decided to take on the challenge and do it. So that's where I'm at. Oh, thanks, Sam. Hey, Sid, what were you saying? You didn't know that? I'm not sure what you were talking about. Maybe all the stuff I had done or something. I don't know. So anyways, I probably need to call it a night, guys. And I would like to host somebody. Oh, about my handle. Yeah. Does anybody have any recommendations on who to host? Who's on right now? Actually, I'm going to go back to my artwork here. I'll finish that up and post that on my Instagram, by the way, that jet thing. Oh, Sam, I also finished that Boba Fett piece I've been working on for a long time. Let's see who's on. By the way, thank you for everybody coming in tonight, and thanks for all the follows and all the awesome artists that came in. That was super killer. It's always humbling when I get other extremely talented people coming in your stream. Let's see. Yeah, I posted it's on my Instagram along with my Behance portfolio below too. It's all on there. The full size image is on the my Behance site. And I just posted it in ArtStation today, and I really don't have much of a presence there, so I literally am just getting more portfolio stuff up on ArtStation. Let's see, who should I raid? I know there's always the big people on top. Cooking, nah. Is anybody that I'm following on right now? Let's see. Oh, hey Sam, what do you think about Bucket of Air, man? I know you know that guy. Oh, Smobby's on too. Actually, I hosted Bucket of Air last time. Yeah, let's do. Okay, Silver said Smobby. Sid said Smobby. All right, let's do Smobby. All right, I've got to make sure that I do this right this time. Faya always corrects me on this. So here's the link, and let's do it's /host, right? Smobby_art, right? What did Sid say? He teaches your school? Oh, that's cool. Did I get it right, Faya? Is it like /host, right? And then Smobby art, correct? Am I good to go? All right, sweet. Thanks, guys. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll get to see you more here, or here more often. And I'll be hitting all your guys' streams as well. Take care, guys. Yeah, I know I have to be off stream.